Hello, everyone, and live from Vienna, Austria, it's Saturday morning. I'm Sister Vassa. I'm glad to see that many of you are with us already. I haven't commented to all of you, but I'm glad to announce that we do have a new assistant here that has joined our team. Her name is Katerina. Differently from Juliet, she is not camera shy and will say hello to you people. I'm glad to welcome Katerina. You want to say hello to everyone?
Hello.
So she's been learning the ropes. Juliet is taking a break because she has these big German exams coming up at the end of the summer. So hopefully she'll be back with us. We're staying in touch. I know you people never saw Juliet, but she will no longer be behind the scenes, at least not for the summer. All right, so I want to also make an exciting announcement that Cynthia, our unchallenged champion of the coveted trophy, has now been. Sorry, Cynthia, you'll have a chance to win it back, I'm sure. But Sarah Hodges was the first with us today. I believe a whole half hour before we went live. So, Sarah. Oh wait, Katerina, I surprised me as well when we decide. So, happy 4th of July weekend, my friends that are in the US of A. That's why we have our Statue of Liberty little figure here today. And we're commemorating the American holiday still here at Coffee headquarters. But what do we have dropped Cynthia's name? See, Cynthia's name joins the other many previous winners inside the cup. And at some point, we will draw from the coveted trophy, and they're going to win something. What are they going to win, Katerina? It's a surprise. What are we going to talk about today mainly, my friends? The thing is, I have to tell you that I did have another show planned, but what happened was that I did this big interview with an exciting guest during the week. We thought we were pre-recording with Father Barnabas Powell. I don't know if all of you know about him, but he's a friend of the show, and I wanted to interview him for this Saturday. But what happened was some glitch. I wish I could blame it on one of my assistants, but it was my fault. I had the recording actually on pause rather than on record the whole time. So we discovered afterwards. It was a great interview, by the way, about his experience as he was raised in a Pentecostal church. He has vast experience that he brings with him into the Orthodox Church because he converted to Orthodoxy, and he had been active in evangelical Christian media, and now that he has perceived between, say, being pastorally active and a priest in the Orthodox Church, his experience with cradle Orthodox and then converts from, say, Protestant backgrounds. And it's some interesting insights there. Anyway, what's going to happen is we have Reese has, great outreach and missionary zeal within the Orthodox Church and does some very good work. Anyway, he talks to us about how he still benefits from his evangelical past and what some of the differences are. Move over Father Barnabas for next week. The exciting topic, everybody, and strange one perhaps, is St. Peter and manliness. What do I mean by that? Well, you see, in case you didn't know, those of us on the older calendar are actually scheduled his interview. Unfortunately, we could reschedule only for next week. Hopefully, God willing, you will get that interview next Saturday, my friends. So today we're going to talk about something I have been thinking about. As I said, I wasn't planning on talking about it today, but I will because on the Apostles' Fast. So I've been thinking a lot about the Holy Apostles, Peter and Paul. We'll only be celebrating Peter and Paul on July 12th. So tying into this is contemplating the character of St. Peter. And, you could take it or leave it, my thoughts on this, because these are not some kind of really theological observations. They're observations of a human kind, simply from my experience. So the way I think about St. Peter, for various reasons that I'll try to expound here, I see him as a type, a type. I also as an academic kind of thinking person, I realize the problems with stereotypes and, of course, gender stereotypes. Nonetheless, they exist for a reason, and I think that St. Peter strikes me as a type of macho man. And because, of course, gender issues get a lot of press, in our time, and they're always quite difficult to talk about. But I find it problematic in a church context to even begin to think about what manliness is. And is there a model or models in Christianity for manliness? We're often told, at least I hear this type of thing, that the Most Holy Theotokos is a model of femininity for women. But I don't know what the answers are to these questions, my friends, but I'm thinking aloud anyway on the topic that I think, in my experience at least, sometimes you do come across types, and there is, as I perceive it, and I'm not shoving this down anybody's throat, my beloved zillions, but I'm seeing St. Peter with his zeal and his proclamation, for example, when he says, "Though they all fall away because of you, I will never fall away," as he famously said, famous last words. "And even if I must die with you," he says to our Lord Jesus Christ, "I will not deny you." And we know that he did, right? Thrice. Listen, I think people are chatting here, Katerina,
Yeah,
and they are not seeing the show. Does anybody see this? I think there's another chat box somewhere. We have to find it. We're seeing the chat that I think is not the one that people are seeing. So where is the other? Maybe it's, oh no, it's not here. You have to find a different link. Okay, so I'm going to continue because later perhaps people will manage to watch the right one. We go to our channel. Okay, so as I'm thinking about this aloud, I'd like to note, I'm pushing forward with this stereotypical type, the stereotype that I have in my head about a sort of macho man that I find very adorable to a certain extent. It's not something that I would say is stupid, but there's a lack of self-awareness in this type of man, and I think that what we see St. Peter going through, and there's no secret made of it in the Gospels. They don't portray the apostles as these, perfect human beings, but St. Peter is being taught in these experiences and his fall, and his restoration again, to be more self-aware. And on the other hand, I see that our Lord Jesus Christ, when he does famously restore St. Peter, in John 21 with the famous scene at the beach and the fish on the coals. We're going to look at that together, everybody. How I feel that Christ treats St. Peter, uh, taking into account the way that he is. And most interestingly to me, can we click on this? I think maybe we'll see the chat if we get into it.
Look.
It's in there, right? Here, click on this, and maybe we'll get the chat there. I can't see what you people are writing. If you found, we have to find the actual video here, and then we'll see where people are chatting. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't know what we have not been able to resolve this issue with the various links. So we want to see the chat so I can see what people are saying, right? Sorry, I keep saying that. I know you heard me. Oh, here we are. I think this is it. Except now there's an ad. Oh, look. I think we're here.
Here we are.
So we're going to turn the ad. I need it to play, though, so that we can... And... Okay, oh, I see. Here you are. We found you guys now. Yeah, I know. People are writing how they couldn't find it. Okay, so I'm getting back to this line of thought. Sorry for the technical issues, my friends. We see this lack of self-awareness, the painful betrayal, denial, where Peter does nonetheless, follow when the other apostles scatter, except for John. But he takes upon himself apparently too much, because in the courtyard where the maid asks him something that he can't handle, apparently this situation is more really, we do know that it's a dangerous place for him to be, and he can't handle it, and he falls because he typically Peter, he rushes in there. He's gonna be stronger than he has to learn this painful lesson, and Christ of course knows this is going to happen to Peter, but Peter is okay. This is the wonderful thing about our God. I know this, everybody, you have to bear with me because I've asked a question. It's almost amusing how in front of the other apostles, he's like, he just, he says something I think very insulting to them. He's like, if the rest of these losers betray you, I won't. A little bit like this. So, whether we have models of masculinity, and I'm thinking aloud as to basically the fact that I think, in the example of St. Peter, I'm not looking at St. Paul today, but I think St. Paul is a very different kind of man, and I think we'll dedicate a separate podcast to his personality. But I think that it's okay even to be this kind of, say, what I'm proposing, you could reject this, but I'm proposing that here we have this kind of hardworking, a man who works with his hands, by no means an intellectual, who I'm suggesting also lacks a self-awareness, whereas somebody like a St. Paul has a very different journey and requires, I would even say, a more individual approach, in the sense that his conversion, it doesn't happen in the context like of this team. Like, it's not, it's really occurring somehow in a very separate way. And I don't want to get go off on a tangent about St. Paul, but with St. Peter, he's both called together with another apostle. He spends most of his time, and his restoration occurs within this group of apostles. And somehow you know, uh, this lack of self-awareness plays out probably to the chagrin of the other apostles, uh, very much in their midst. And then you have this, I would say, very intellectual St. Paul, who is not going to, I think, ever really be like a team player, and needs a kind of, very personal and, in some cases, I think, extreme kind of jolt, in his very own unique way. As he repeatedly will say, he says, I received from the Lord directly, not from any human being, a lot of revelations and his way to Christ. But getting back to St. Peter, I want to note that these different types that I think are, at least the way I see it here, can be different when revealed in men. Like this whole, when I'm talking about St. Peter, a kind of macho-ness, and I can brandish my sword, when he strikes in Gethsemane, Malchus, the servant of the high priest, and he cuts off his ear, and Christ heals the ear and tells Peter to put the sword away. I see Peter as this type, and also that it's okay that the Lord treats him accordingly and gives Peter what he needs to keep going and to follow him and to be saved or to become whole, but in the way that he is. Okay, I will get to my final point, how, again, take it or leave it, my friends. I'm thinking aloud about it being okay for us to be, even very stereotypically, ourselves. Also, for whatever reasons, you could have arguments as to if you even agree that men can be a certain way in general terms. If you accept any of these stereotypes, I'm sharing my observations. I like the kind of, philosophy, if you will, or approach to life where it's a-okay and very beautiful to be, say, the way that one has been brought to understand it, to be a woman, to be a man, and to indeed to own that in the ways that we have been shown to own it. Does that even make sense to anybody? Katarina's like, no. She goes, that doesn't make sense at all. I want to move on and show you what I mean about the restoration of St. Peter. This will make a little bit more sense, my friends, I promise. Look, I'm going to make the simple point that St. Peter, when he's restored on the beach with the Peter, do you love me, son of Jonah, right? Wait a second. Next quote. Katarina, I am looking for this. Let's remove the St. Peter icon. There, I managed to do that. And everybody remembers this, right? Jesus appears on the beach, tells them to throw the nets into the side on one side of the boat, and they're hauling the fish here, everybody. The 153 fish. One second. Next quote. I need quote. Which quote is this? This is quote 1. I need quote 2. Alrighty. So, Jesus stood on the beach. This is after his resurrection. Yet the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to them, children, have you any fish? All right, everybody knows this part, right? So Peter hears from John that it's the Lord. You know that Jesus looked different in his resurrected body, so it wasn't always very clear, immediately clear, like on the road to Emmaus, that it's Jesus. But Peter interesting detail here, everybody. I know I say this to you every year when Peter and Paul rolls around, the Feast of Saints Peter and Paul, but that Peter, it says, and it's always been a little bit strange to me ever since I was a child, and you read, you know, the part that Peter had to throw on his clothes because he was naked, and some English translations try to somehow soften that. But it says that, because he was naked, in rar gymnos, be bo nag in the Slavonic. I find it important because this scene where Peter's about to be, God's going to have a conversation with him. Peter is like Adam in Genesis 3. Adam has also discovered that he's naked, has tried to fashion for himself, clothing. But it's a very different scene, the way Adam reacts hiding. Adam doesn't only try to cover his nakedness, but he hides from God. Whereas Peter, in his nakedness, because Peter has been stripped of dignity in his fall, he feels bad, right? So I think that John the Evangelist mentions here that he's naked because he's naked on more levels than one. But yeah, we can talk about the practical side. So it's very hot, and so he's naked and he's working. He actually does the opposite. He dives into the water. What does he do? He jumps into the water. He sprang into the sea. Peter did. He's literally rushing to be confronted with this Lord. And my final point will be, spoiler alert, but that Christ never... the fact that it's mentioned is interesting to me, and it's also interesting to me that now is a different time than the time when humanity is so very young at the time of the fall of Adam and Eve. Here is our Lord Jesus Christ, from whom the fallen Peter needs not run away. Asks for an apology from Peter. Peter never says, "I'm sorry." And I love this part, that I want to, as I develop the stereotypical image of Peter here that I think matches the type of a macho man, the type, the types that still, I was thinking about this recently, you still see these guys occasionally that'll flip their polo collar up. Does that ever look good? That's so ridiculous, right? But I marvel at the fact that there is this type of guy who never got the memo that you look like such a doofus when you do that, right? Flipping the pink polo shirt, and you flip the collar up, that doesn't need... Gentlemen, if you're doing that, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. If you don't want to invite people to walk up to you and want to hit you in the face. That's a terrible thing to say, sister, but I'm not saying they will, just saying that might incite that desire. So, but I find it adorable, the lack of self-awareness that really has to be there for the flipped collar, is what I'm saying. Is that a deep theological reflection, sister, today for us? I just thought you need to know, gentlemen, don't flip the collar, okay? We're okay with the pink polo shirts. Just the collar needs to stay down, all right? So, anyway, Peter never apologizes, but the Lord, treating him the way he knows Peter can come back, actually behaves, like, I would say, almost like a very wise and loving wife, if you'll accept the feminine parallel. The Lord prepares this breakfast for all of the disciples, including Peter, and says, "Come on, everybody, let's have, come have breakfast. Yay, fish for breakfast." No, they didn't say that. Let's have fish. But anyway, he prepares this meal and draws Peter in, right? This is the first step. Without any, there's no, all right, where's my apology? Why am I not hearing "I'm sorry"? No, none of this. First, it's just, and he never talks about the elephant in the room directly, Peter's fall. He lets Peter say the main thing. Okay, for whatever reason, Peter, there's that type of person. It happens in our relationships, right? And sometimes we might not allow the person to reaffirm their love. Say, if we're the wronged party, or we have wronged someone, I don't know. It's not always, reconciliation can look many different ways. And the amazingly beautiful thing about this scene with Peter, who knows that he can come to this Lord, that he doesn't need to hide. But he's learned enough self-awareness, everybody, if I could allegorically treat the covering his nakedness and springing into the water. Not attempting, everybody, to walk on the water anymore. Because remember that scene. He did, for a bit, walk on the water, didn't he? But then started to sink. So this is not, Peter's no longer trying to walk on the water, but he does spring in. He does know that he's naked, but he also knows that he doesn't have to hide. And here the Lord confronts him in a way that Peter can be reinstated, reaffirmed, and move forward. And so everybody knows, you guys know how this happens, but we're going to get, Katerina, we're going to get the next picture. I don't know if you guys don't like these pictures. They're a little bit like cartoony, but this is what I found. Pictures for you. Don't you like when, I like for there to be illustrations of gospel stories. It's helpful, right? Oh my goodness, Peter O'Leary said he's flipping his collar down. Peter! I'm glad your name is Peter. See, you're the flipped collar type. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we love you anyway. That's so funny to me when I see the flipped collar. I want to take a picture of it, when I see it. I just think, what happened? How are you still doing this?
Why?
Right? Why is the question Katarina's saying. It's adorable though. Okay, wait. Quote 4. There it is. Excuse me, everybody. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Anyway, I'm not going to actually read this to you, everybody, because my point was to say I love that he doesn't apologize. I mean, I wouldn't love it if, say, this was, like my relationship, and if I, had, this something similar somehow happen. Whatever, it's hard to say that there's a parallel between, in our cases, of what the Lord feels when we betray him. But what I want to say is that it can be maddening, I think, in certain situations where an apology is not forthcoming. But that's a merely human kind of reaction, right? I think God, I don't know if this was in any way helpful about the whole gender, thing, but I'm somehow thinking of it that there are, at least I'm going to stick to this, that I think in my experience, there is also, these, one could say, negative aspects of the kind of macho man. But God doesn't reject it. And we are a certain way. We are, I like to, when I sort of play a little bit of a character on my old coffee videos, when, I'm sort of making fun of myself, and I say things like, like Clinique is my secret and I'm a fashion icon, and I play up a certain kind of well, stereotypical, if you will, vain woman. And I like to do that. I like to realize, and I think that it's in our Orthodox canonical legislation about, that it's women it's okay for women to be women. There's even a canon of, I think it's the Council of Gangra. I have to look it up for you. But I don't want to get into it, and again, I might upset some people's political sensitivities, but it forbids women to dress like men in this canon. There's other interesting canons of this Council of Gangra about, about marital just relations, but this particular canon about women dressing like women, to me, the way I read it is, there is nothing wrong or bad about, I know that there are exceptions and various approaches to traditional gender roles. Don't misunderstand what I meant by that. I want to say that we do have different cultures. People from more than one continent watch this show. But in any event, it's A-OK and beautiful to be a woman. Now, I'm going to see what you guys are talking about out there. St. Peter's and Saints Peter, I said St. Peter's and Paul's. Saints Peter and Paul pray to God for us, I'll say, concluding that very puzzling segment on, the macho-ness of St. Peter. And if you got nothing out of it, everybody, just don't flip the collar. Take that away with you today. All right. I'm going to say hello to you, my dear friends. It's so good to see so many of you with us. How many are with us right now, Katerina? I can't see.
Yeah, I can see.
You can see?
Are
they
38.
Dropping like flies right now?
38.
Oh, okay, that's nice. All right, everybody. So hello to you, my friends. And I see somebody is still, some of you are still with me. Hello, dear Cynthia and Phil, Susan Yoder, and Nightingale 1962. Good to see you. And Marcy. I am drinking from her cup as usual. Happy weekend to you, Marcy. Laura Divini. Hello, Laura. And Serena. Great to see you. Sam Rogers, have I already said hello to you? Brian Delaney, great to see you. And Kathy Joe. Kathy Joe, have you been with us before? Good to see you. And Ray Masters is asking whether manliness is the same as leadership. Well, I don't have, the answers about this because I think it's really underdeveloped. But I just thought out loud about it. I don't know if anybody got anything out of it. So the stuff I was pointing out about manliness is sort of, I think there are awkward aspects of it, but that are, that God works with, that I don't mean to be disrespectful about manliness, I think that parts of it are certainly about leadership. But, it's interesting to me that St. Peter, before he becomes a church leader, he has to work through learning about himself. So we don't begin, we're not introduced to St. Peter as to a leader. He's someone that we first watch going through this, coming of age sort of experience. Bizrate Gabriel, good morning. Oh, look, he says, miss you so much. You miss me? Thanks. That's nice. Denise, hello to you. Did I say hello to you already? Now, everybody, I'm just trying to find if I haven't said hello to someone. I think Peter O'Leary, we already talked with you a little bit today about your flipped collar. So that was really funny. I don't see the timer, though, Katerina. I don't see how much time we've been on.
It's around 51 minutes.
All right. I'm going to sign off pretty soon, everybody, my friends. Oh yeah, Cynthia's talking about Pope Francis giving the ecumenical patriarch the relics, uh, or probably a little piece of Saint Peter. I hadn't actually heard about that. I don't know why. I'm not well informed on this issue today, but sounds like wonderful news to me. I'm sorry, everybody, that I didn't know, but I learned it from you and your comments. So, you guys, I'm reading your comments about the problems of having found the right link. Let me take the quote down. Look, we don't need it up.
Yeah, I think I understood. What's the problem.
You've
I will
understood.
fix it,
Okay,
yeah.
we're gonna. Katerina has understood the problem. We're gonna finally fix this problem. Finalmente, our new Italian assistant will fix this problem. Now, oh, Monk Maximus is with us. Lovely to see you, brother. Marcy says, okay, we're talking. Oh, I already said hello to Marcy. Josh Heller. Hi, Josh. Warm greetings to you as well. Julia isn't with us for the summer, okay? As I've told people. We have Katarina with us, who is not camera shy, as was Juliet. So, we're going to, maybe she'll do the show together with me sometimes. That'll be fun. We'll see. Mortis Pithlord. Hello. Good to see you, Mortis. Sarina. Okay. So Sarina's thinking about Peter in a whole new light. I'm sorry. I hope that I didn't give you guys an image of St. Peter with a raised collar. A raised pink polo shirt collar. That'll be like just a strange image, right? So, but anyway, that's just, it cracks me up whenever I think about that. If you click on the link, okay, sorry, that Ken ATL, hello to you. And Elizabeth Schaefer, hello. She says it makes sense and it's very beautiful. Thanks, Elizabeth Schaefer. I was feeling all insecure and I was crippled by self-doubt saying all of that stuff. And now you have validated me. No, I'm sorry. I don't have to be sarcastic. It's nice that you like it. Someone, I saw someone put up some kind of an attempt at sort of a bio of me at one of the sites where I'll be speaking. Have I mentioned I'll be speaking in Phoenix, Arizona, and San Diego, California in mid-September? Check out my speaking schedule if you haven't seen it. Anyway, it says in this sort of blurb that they put up about me, the first thing it says about me is, she's known for her dry wit and sarcasm. I was like, that's not the best thing to be known for, is it? She's a sarcastic person. If anyone ever categorizes me as a type, like I just did to St. Peter, the great St. Peter, I think that one's not going to come out like a very nice profile. Anyway, thanks, Susan Yoder. She's talking about St. Mark. St. Mark is remembered as a man in motion due to the dynamic word choices in his gospel. But St. Peter, you wrote S.R. Peter. Do you mean Sister Peter? Now that's confusing. I didn't say anything like that. I said that he's a man's man. But St. Peter embodies one who is first to volunteer, defend, and repent. That's good. That's better than what I said, Susan. Everybody read Susan Yoder's comment on St. Peter. It's helpful. Thanks a lot, Susan. And Juliana Svijic. I don't know how to pronounce your Serbian last name, Juliana. She says, hello from Serbia. I am with you on this topic, sister. Thanks. It's nice to hear that. Moses Hunt. Hello, Moses Hunt. Moses Hunt. Don't flip the collar. Resist that temptation. It's never a good idea. Don't listen to the voices in your head, gentlemen. Don't believe them. It's a false promise of coolness. It's not. It's never cool. You just think it is. All right, sister, enough about the flipped collar. Moses, the sirens make me think there is constantly a James Bond-style bank robbery transpiring out of sister's window. It's true. It does seem like every single ambulance or cop car drives past our window. But the thing is, again, gentlemen, you know what the issue is with these sirens? I think that when certain types of men are given a car with a siren, they just love to use the siren. It's like this toy. And it's about 73 times louder than it needs to be. Like, we know you're like a cool guy who's in control right now because you have this loud siren, but they use it like for no reason. Really, I see no reason for it to be that loud every time that they're rushing to save the cat in a tree. I don't know where they're rushing off to. I'm sure they actually do very helpful work. Anyway, whom have I not greeted? Was that correct? Whom have I? Probably not. Simon Schaefer. Hello. And all right, I think I already talked about everybody. 1 second, did I skip someone? Cherry Chapman. Good afternoon, she says. Good afternoon, Cherry. We're pretending it's morning on this show, all right? It's Saturday morning live. Michelle Moline. Hello, Michelle. You are new here. I haven't seen you here yet. Welcome to our elite, very special group of friends. Ray Masters, pink is not a liturgical color, he says. You know, there's a level that's even worse than just the pink polo with the flipped collar. Has anyone ever seen, now actually I have to say, ladies, that the preppy, like, woman type has on occasion been seen to do this. What? She will wear 2 polo shirts. Guys can also sometimes do this, but I've only seen it done once. The lime green polo shirt worn under a pink polo shirt, and then both those collars flipped so you can see the lime green collar and the pink collar raised like that. Don't do it. All right? Don't do it. It's a no-no. It's like the man bun. Why? The man bun? Well, we'll get to that another time. All right? Also very important to cover. All right, everybody. The unsolicited fashion tips are brought to you by our new Italian assistant. Because, see, Italians have a sense for these things. And she somehow, she hasn't explicitly said any of these things to me, but my fashion sense has been somehow awoken again, that I feel it necessary to bring you some tips today. Because someone dressed like me obviously is expected to be something of a fashion guru. Right? Amy is with us. Hello, Amy. Andrei Tarasov. Hello, great to see you. And Brother Thomas. Pink is a liturgical color, Brother Thomas tells us. Hello, by the way, my brother. It's a liturgical color in the Roman Catholic Church, but only twice a year. Tell us, when do you use the pink? Brother Thomas, we need to know. Samuel Sains is with us, and he has a laugh emoji. 2 Amy's are here. Oh, indeed. There's one Amy S. and one just Amy. Hello, Amy without an S and Amy with an S. She's our artist. The artist amongst the zillions is Amy S., right? She sends me drawings. Amy will sketch these drawings of, like, on the basis of an SML, Saturday Morning Live show, or even an audio podcast. All right, I think we have to wrap this up because I'm just rambling, but I love to do so with you, my friends. Please note and check out the Divine Liturgy course, now getting put up, only 2 videos a week, here on YouTube. Just search for Divine Liturgy course here on YouTube, and you will find, right now we already have 5 videos up. We'll have 2 more put up on Monday, but there's over 40 of these videos ongoing. It's not finished, this course. We're only up to the Anamnesis and Offering, which precedes the Epiclesis in the Divine Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom. But I think you would like to learn more about the Divine Liturgy. Like, I'm telling people what they want to know, what they want to learn. You'll like it. Check it out. Divine Liturgy course here on YouTube. And can I ask you guys to please subscribe on Patreon? I do say this to you every week. We need to stay afloat. We need to increase our number of subscribers. But usually, either because all of you are subscribed already, but if you're not, please consider it. Just be like a subscriber for $5 a month. It's a big help if a lot of you pile on and do it, okay? Because this is something that then every month keeps us afloat. Okay, consider it, everybody, because we actually provide a lot more materials for free than for money. But in order to provide to more people free materials so we can keep working and my helpers can be paid, we do need your support. If you find this a help or somehow a support in your life or our daily reflections, these little things that we do on our online mission, then consider also supporting us. Okay? All right. So I'm going to say goodbye, my beloved Zillion. Oh yeah, someone's mentioning Ray Masters. No, Amy. Amy S. is mentioning that we have indeed a patristics series there, series of talks on the Church Fathers ongoing, okay, with already 12 audio podcasts on that topic. Oh my goodness, an hour and a half?
No, we are at
46 minutes. I was like, what? That time really flies with you people. Gregory Bedard. Hello, Gregory. I didn't see you there. He says, good day, Sister Vassa, and good day to you too, sir. Amy S. is sending us a rose and a heart. Thank you, Amy S. Susan Yoder is saying, thank you for delivering us from fashion faux pas. Deep apologies to St. Peter's gender identity for that moment of digital miscommunication. Okay, I know you didn't do it on purpose. She called St. Peter Sister Peter. That's why we chuckled about that. Brother Thomas, by the way, he says, I need to confess to you my man bun. Ah, do you really have a man bun? Ha ha ha. Well, I forgave you right away for that, Brother Thomas. I'm generous that way. Susan Yoder, that should be from, not fro. Okay, I'm a work in progress, she says. All right, everybody, bye-bye. Moses Hunt says he will be subscribing to the Divine Liturgy podcast on payday. It's just it's $5. No, it's 10. You have to be a bonus subscriber. Look, what's $10? Can you even buy a coffee at Starbucks for $10? Probably.
Half coffee.
Half a coffee? For a whole month. My friends, you get over 250 audio podcasts and these videos on Divine Liturgy, series of on all sorts of topics. You wouldn't believe it, really. It's informative, hopefully. Yeah, just subscribe. You could listen to it when you're driving to work, you're stuck in traffic, you're on the treadmill, you're lying on the beach. Anyway. All right, I know I have to go. Serena is saying, Brother Thomas, you are probably the exception to the man bun rule, and I'm sure you look great. Yeah, maybe you can pull it off. Maybe you're the one man that can pull it off. I have yet to see it. But anyway, like I said, we forgive you. All right, we have to go.
Need to forgive. You can show that you forgive.
Katarina's saying there's no need to forgive. All right, everybody. So we had a little bit of fun today. I love all of you. A happy continuation of the Apostles' Fast, because if you're on the older calendar, you are still fasting, whereas new calendar people already celebrated. You know why we're still fasting? Because we're better than you. Right, we needed that, sister. All right, like I said, I love you people. And on a serious note, do have a blessed continuation of your summer. Or if you're in Australia, whatever you have instead of summer right now. Simon Schaefer. Did I say hello to Simon Schaefer? I think I did. Anyway, hi, Simon Schaefer. Andis Taxis, that's Ami. Ami's here. I'll see you in 3 weeks, she says, off to Chicago. All right. All right, lovely to chat with you. Do subscribe. Do not hesitate. Do it now. That was like an Oprah line. Do it now. All right, bye everybody. Love you. I don't know how to turn this off now. Oh, stop streaming. I get it. Bye.
Can't
Here.
see it, yeah.
Here we go. Thank you, Katarina. Bye.